Welcome to this 15-minute, quick and fairly gentle practice. We're going to start lying down on your back. We don't need any props. Gently lying down onto your mat. And we'll take a nice big stretch out. So reaching up. And starting to reach up through the right fingertips. And the right sole of the foot. Lovely, and then swapping sides. One more time. And another side. Lovely, coming back to the center and floating the arms down and starting to bend into the knees, bringing the feet onto the floor. You might want to lift the hips up and down a couple of times to find that a sweet spot for your body to rest. And then either softening or closing the eyes, or take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in and out. One more time like that. And we'll invite a few resetting breaths. So for this breath, we'll take a breath in, take a pause, we'll then breathe in again, and then let it all out. Okay, let's have a play. So on the next inhale, slowly breathing in through the nose. Take a pause, breathe in again, and then release. And again, breathing in through the nose. Take a pause, breathe in again, and release. One more time, softly breathing in through the nose. Take a pause, breathe in again, and release. What does that sigh feel like in your body? Allow your breath to find a steady rhythm once again. And giving yourself a big thank you for this time that you've set aside today. For yourself. We'll start to bring the knees into the chest. And either have the hands around the knees, maybe behind the thighs if that feels more comfortable. Softening through the shoulders. Gently rocking a little bit from side to side. Maybe you'd like to turn that rock into a few circles. Easing into the lower back. And then changing the direction of the circles. And then back to the center. So we'll now start to bring the legs in opposite directions, guiding them away from you, towards the body, and then towards each other again. So we start to draw circles all the way up into the hips now. And remember, they can be tiny circles. They can be slightly bigger circles. Just see how this feels. You can always stop. And then changing the direction of the circles. Just check you're still breathing. Sometimes it's easy to hold your breath, especially when you're concentrating. Okay, coming back to the center. And then bring the feet down. About hip-width distance apart, and walk the feet a little closer in towards the hips. As a guide, you might be able to tickle the backs of the heels. Guide, remember? Just a guide. So we're going to come into a bridge roll-up. So starting by rolling the hips towards you and closing the gap between the spine and the floor. Pressing into the feet, squeezing into the glutes, into the buttocks, and then lifting the hips off the ground. Thinking about the weight down through the shoulders. Little pause at the top. And then slowly roll down. Keep drawing the bottom of the ribs down, inviting that roll down vertebra by vertebra. Take a breath. And then on the next exhale, we'll go again, rolling the hips towards you. Press down through the feet, lifting the hips up. Doesn't need to be your highest, remember. Just feel into the movement. Taking a breath in the lift. And then as you exhale, rolling down. Nice breathing here. And then we'll do that one more time, rolling up into bridge. Press through the feet. Strong legs. Just allow the neck to be quite relaxed here. Lovely, and then slowly rolling down. And as the hips come down, we'll bring the knees in. Give yourself a nice big hug, either hands on knees or behind the thighs, whatever feels accessible. Nice little rock. And then rolling over onto your side. And we'll use the top hand, pressing down into the ground and support yourself up. And we'll come to tabletop. To hands and knees. So, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Get some extra padding underneath the knees if it's uncomfortable, or double your mat. And you can always come up onto closed fists. If your wrists are feeling sensitive today, that might be a nice option. Okay, we'll go through a few rounds of cat-cow. So start to lift the tailbone up, soften the belly down, and then heart space shines forwards, gazing a little bit in front, and sliding the shoulders away from the ears, just noticing if they're up by the ears a little bit. Nothing kind of pushing, but just sliding down. And then drop the tailbone, round into the mid-upper back, gently press into the floor, and maybe let the head drop if that feels comfortable. Let's do that again. Lifting the tailbone up, softening the belly down, and then heart space shines forwards. And then drop the tailbone, rounding into the mid and upper back, pressing into the floor, maybe the head drops down. Let's do that a few more times in your own time, if you want to. In that arch position, see what it feels like to take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, round into the back. Inhaling, softening the belly down. And exhaling as you round into the back. If coordinating the breath with movement doesn't feel right today, that's fine. Just focus on the movement. And just keep breathing. That's the most important thing. So let's do one more. Okay, coming back to neutral. Walk the hands a little further forwards. We'll bring the weight forward, shoulders come over the wrist, like a half press-up position. Nice and strong in the arms. Start to bend into the elbows, allow the chest to come down. Any little wiggles? Maybe hands come a little wider. We're going to come to some cobras. Roll the shoulders back and down. Squeezing into the glutes. And then slowly lift the head and the chest. Baby cobra. And then lower. Lovely, two more. Lifting the head and the chest. Baby cobra. And then lower. One more time, lifting through the head and the chest. If you can look forwards fully, just bring the chin down a little bit, lengthen through the back of the neck. And then lower. Hands underneath the shoulders, or forearms if that feels more comfortable. Big push, back to table. Hands where the elbows were. And we'll come into a child's pose, so maybe knees a little wider, feels more comfortable. Big toes could come towards each other. And I could zigzag the hips down towards the heels. So if that feels enough for your knees and your hips, maybe come down onto forearms, keep the hips a little higher, or you could ease your way down and just meet yourself where you are. How do your ankles, your knees and your hips feel today? Choosing your option for your body. You could bring one arm on top of the other and make a little pillow for your forehead, or explore extending the arms. You choose. Softening through your jaw. Maybe give the bottom jaw a little wiggle from side to side. Especially if you tend to, tension to the jaw and you're concentrating like I do. Maybe a little bit of movement into the jaw, a few circles. It's going to help to release a little tension there. Okay, let's take a breath in and out. And then using that inhale to lift back up to tabletop position. So we'll step the left foot forwards and come into a low lunge. Option to pad the right knee. I quite like just folding over the mat. Oh, sorry, that was my knee. Press up. Find your balance, so feet are hip width distance apart. Take a moment. And then we'll sweep the arms up to the sky. Softening into the shoulders. And breathe. Bringing the hands together and bring them in front of the heart center. Rolling the shoulders back and down, and then we'll rotate the body towards the left. Just see where you go. If you want, extend the arms onto a T shape. Find a spot for your eyes to focus and breathe. Start to bring the hands back to the heart center, and we'll come back round to the front. Left hand onto the left hip, and we'll reach the right arm up towards the sky. Think about tucking the hips under, so draw the tailbone down, try and squeeze into that back buttock. I'm just going to reach up. Maybe that feels enough, or maybe up and over to the left slightly. If you find yourself holding your breath, just ease away so we can breathe. Lovely. Come back to the center. Plant the hands, and we're going to step back. So if hand on the outside, too much, bring the hand on the inside, and we can slide that left leg back. And then swap sides. Oh yeah. Right foot forwards. Bending into the left knee. Padding the left knee if you like. Depends on your floor, your mat. And then we'll sweep the arms up to the sky, softening into the shoulders. It might help to lift the shoulders up, give them a little squeeze, and then relax them back down. Soften them back down. Just bringing the hands together in front of the heart center, and then we'll rotate to the right. Just go as far as feels comfortable. Option to part the arms and come into your T shape. Thumbs up, give yourself a thumbs up, and soften through the shoulders. Feeling into the balancing. Okay, bring the hands back to the heart center. Come round to the middle. Bringing the right hand onto the right side of the hips. And then we'll reach the left arm up towards the sky. Tuck the tailbone down, so it's like you're squeezing into that back buttock a little bit more, and you might feel that across the front of the hip here. Option to reach up or up and over a little to the right. And then back to the middle. Plant the hands down. You choose how you want to transition back. So hands and knees. Okay. So fingers spread nice and wide. We're going to come into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and then wiggling the hips up and back. Hands about shoulder width distance apart. Feet about hip width distance apart. Lifting the hips up nice and high, and then we'll slowly pedal through the legs. Getting some movement into the feet, into the toes, especially if you've been in shoes or boots a lot today. A little wiggle of the hips from side to side, if you like. All options, and just see what you feel like doing. Lovely. Start to look forwards, move the weight forwards, and ease the knees down with control. Lovely. Bring the legs together, hips to the side, and we'll bring the legs around in front. And we're going to roll down onto your back for another minute. Alright. So rolling down onto your back, we could bring the arms in front, or if you've got a sensitive lower back, it might be more comfortable to ease down onto your side and then roll onto your back. So have a play. Get nice and comfy, adjust the shoulders, the hips. Legs could be long or bent. Arms could be down by the sides of the body, or maybe resting on the body. Softening or closing the eyes. Start to bring your awareness to your breath once again. Notice how you're feeling. The moving. So bringing your awareness to your body. Softening into your jaw. And thanking yourself for this time that you've set aside today. Start to extend the arms, maybe the legs if that feels comfortable. Nice big stretch. Floating the arms down, bending into the knees, and then bringing both legs in. Rolling over to the side. Easing up to your chosen seated position. So that might be cross-legged. Kneeling position feels quite comfortable for me, but maybe not for you. To find your chosen position, you lift up and roll the shoulders back and down a couple of times. Lovely, one more time. Sweep the arms up to the sky. And hands together in front of the heart center. Bowing your head down. I thank you for this time. A gratitude for this time. Thank you very much for joining me today.